in such a huge country. The country has e-Panchayat project, but that is more about digitization of the processes within the Panchayat itself, not to bring them online. And our job is, and the mission is to become more transparent, more visible, and you create digital content so that it is visible globally. And that is a challenge of South Asia also. If you look at the entire South Asian countries, you will see the biggest challenge is that we are minimally visible on the web, on the internet. And as long as you are minimally visible, that means you are using the information which is visible, which is the European and the American and the Western world's information. And in the era of information economy, it is extremely important to create digital content, be visible. And how will you make it visible? To make your entire those institutional sector. And in the governance, Panchayat is one sector. In the MSME, I have more example from India, but you can relate it to Sri Lanka also. There are 26 million MSME companies in India, employing 60 million people. Chanderi is one of that kind of place, which Chanderi must be having about 100, 200 companies there, 1 people, 2 people, 3 people, and something like that. 80% of them are not online. And if you go there in your own country, you will also find the similar situation, you know. And that is extremely important to bring them, and that is one of our project called eMSME. This is the Panchayat, which we have already done about 200 Panchayat online. Our target is 2,500. We open Panchayat centers in different locations. The other program is eNGO, which is targeting NGO sector. 80% of NGOs in India are not online, out of 3.3 million. There are 3.3 million NGOs in our, if you don't take consideration of the religious NGOs. If you take the religious NGOs, then it is 4 million. And if you look at the situation, I'm sure there will be similar situation here. And why we stress on NGOs is because NGOs are mostly run by the educated people. They are aware about the situation, and they have the content in their own area, either by research, by doing the project implementation. So that means they also possess a lot of content, which is again not visible. So that's the reason we are stressing that. So as a concept, one is governance on the Panchayat level. The second is social sector, NGO. And the third is MSME, which is the commercial, which is the backbone of any country. You know, I'm sure you would remember that when the slowdown was going on all over the world, people like us and the countries like us were least affected because our economy mostly relied inside. And those are the small companies which are the backbone, not the stock market of the countries like ours. They don't run really the economy. They only run the newspapers, you know, where we see all they read about them. So those are the 3 sectors, and we have done about 500 NGOs online in the last 2 years. They can be seen on engo.in. And it is also a very good network to do anything within the country. So once you have established that kind of network, it's very easy to go deeper, you know, and penetrate deeper with the ICT. So these are all the, this is the Chanderi website. You can go and buy things there, and you can, next time when I come to Sri Lanka, I can bring more for you so that you don't have to pay those courier charges. And then there is an education area. In India, there are 1.6 million schools in our country, and 90% of them will be in rural India. And 90% of them has no computer centers, no IT, nothing. Forget about connectivity, because first you get the lab and then you get the connectivity. Again, we are trying to bring through Gyanpedia how they can come online. We have done 500 schools so far whose content is here. And that's our area in the education that we are targeting. So in education, we are targeting the schools through Gyanpedia. In commercial sector, we are targeting MSMEs. In the social sector, we are targeting NGOs. And in the governance area, we are targeting the digital panchayat. So we think that if you do this way, you enrich the entire society through different institutional body to come online. And once you come online, ICT literacy automatically come to you. You don't have to separately work for ICT literacy for them, you know, because once you are, you know, it's something like bring a computer home. You don't have to teach your kid or anybody to learn how to operate the computer, or for that matter, mobile or TV. It automatically, it's like self-learning. So if you bring something which is associated with this institution or organization, then you jump the ladder of capacity building. It happens automatically. So, that's mostly what I wanted to share. And then there are, several examples of how ICT has been utilized. I don't want to talk about them because you can go and look at manthanaward.org or mbillion.in and you can read all those examples. And if you want to know more about in particular, you can get in touch with me. Have I finished 8 minutes?
64 slides and you finished before time.
Yeah, so those are mostly the example. I have them particular examples which I don't want to. So conceptually what I'm saying is that there is still an opportunity in the online business in whatever sector you are. You choose education, choose commerce, choose social sector, choose governance. Everywhere there is a huge gap. So my message to all the young people is that there is an opportunity for business. For the people who are on the responsible position, you have to influence your country at various parts to come online. That's very, very important. I'm sure Rajneesh will be very happy that I'm asking everybody to come online because that solves the purpose of internet society. And the last thing that before I go away, I must tell you that with Internet Society in Chanderi, we have also created a Wi-Fi network which goes up to 15 kilometers. So anybody who walks into that small village, you will be connected. You open your laptop and you will be connected, but of course you will not get a username password unless you get in touch with us, but it's Wi-Fi township. It's a small town, but it's Wi-Fi. That's another area that we are working on, how to Wi-Fi small areas where the fiber optic lines have not reached. So these are some of the things I thought I would share as per my topic of discussion. But any further questions, I have, these 64 slides are full of examples. So, from banking sector to social sector to, news and views and water online and, all those things. But I don't have time that much. Conceptually, I got my message to you. Is there any question?
Thank you, Osama. Can we have 2 questions, please?
Only 2.
How do you fund them initially?
How do I fund the?
Yeah, how do you fund them, find the funds for them initially?
Okay, so all these projects are funded by either government organization or organization like Internet Society or companies like Intel, VeriSign. Like, for example, in the Digital Panchayat, there is a body called National Internet Exchange of India, whose job is to propagate .in domain. So it solves their purpose that maximum organization come online. Similarly, NGO, government wanted maximum NGOs to come online, so they gave us money to make 500 online. And now we have converted into a business proposal. If you pay 2,000 rupees, we take care of your hosting, online, converting your website, everything together for a year. So it's a yearly 2,000 rupees per website, unlimited and dynamic. It's not that I'm working very hard to make them. It's on WordPress. It's very easy. We do it. Similarly, in MSME, it is, the workshops are funded by VeriSign because they want internet propagation all over the country. It solves our purpose also. And when they get converted into a website, we charge them about 5,000 rupees per website. So all these things, and the good thing is that most of them, or almost all of them, has got industry as a stakeholder and government also as a stakeholder. And we are happy that we have been able to convert them into a sustainable business so that even if they are not funded after a pilot phase, they can be on their own.
Thank you.
Second question, yes.
Yes.
To our surprise, language for us is not an issue. I mean, we can create website in any language. But to our surprise, most of the NGOs' website, when we started creating, we found that they themselves are interested in English, website. Of course, the government-related, the panchayat level website, they are mostly in local language. So if you go to epanchayat.in and click on different states of the country, you go deeper, you will find local language websites.
Yes, yes.
Myself from Bangladesh, how do you manage the updates? Somebody wants to update something.
Yeah, so we ideally want them to update themselves. We give them user manual and everything, but practically they don't. So what we do is that we tell them to attach whatever you want to be updated. You send it to us and we update it. The frequency of anything bottom up, the frequency of update is not very high because creating content or even converting, scanning them or converting them, they find it a little bit difficult. So the frequency is not so high that we are overburdened, but we have calculated all these things into the 2,000 rupees or 3,000 rupees into the system, that 2-3 people are always on the job, and there is still not enough that they are overwhelmed.
Thank you, Osama. I think we had to stop you there, but it was a very interesting presentation, and please join me in applauding him.
Thank you.